Hello and welcome to Cafecito for Two. My name is Javier and Christina here with me. If you're watching the live, we're very happy to welcome this new year with a new episode since we left the Bay Area back in August 2021, and here we are January 2022 with a brand new home and a brand new studio. So we're very happy to start this new season with you in a new location full of energy and full of amazing guests.
Yes, we are so excited today to kick off. We were just saying our inaugural January 2022 or 2022 guest list with author Kim Sorrelle. And you're going to have an awesome opportunity today to get to know Kim. She's a writer, a speaker, an entrepreneur, and she's also the director of a nonprofit organization. And she really devoted a full year to finding love's true meaning. And we wanted to share her with you. And specifically, she has a new book that just came out just recently, last month, I believe, on Amazon. And it's called Love Is, a year-long experiment living out 1 Corinthians 13 love. And it talks about all of her adventures. And we are so blessed to get a sort of a sneak peek into her adventures and revelations and discoveries. So we just want to say first and foremost, welcome Kim to Cafecito.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. We're excited to have you. It's always good I was just saying this to you, but for our audience as well, it's so amazing to start off the new year centering ourselves, right? And what our intentions are, what our prayers are, what do we want to give and serve and from where? And so Love is just such a beautiful opportunity to have that kind of reflection in our lives as we begin a new journey, right?
Yes, absolutely. And such a big topic, right? Because when we ask, I don't think there is a specific definition of what love is, right? Because the love that we feel from our Heavenly Father, that's the ultimate love. That's what love is. But how you describe that into words, all right? So it's a great topic that we're going to discuss today.
So, Kim, we were just curious if you would just give us a little bit of your backstory around how you came to write Love Is, and just talk a little bit about that journey. I'm sure it was so amazing for you.
Sure, absolutely. You know what you were saying, Javier, is so true. Like, you don't go to the bookstore and buy a manual on love, right? There's no love for dummies, right? And so you learn how to love from your parents, from people around you. And not everything you learn about love is right. Not everything that's called love is actually love, right? Mm-hmm. And so a few years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And 4 months later, my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Mm-hmm. And he passed away 6 weeks after that. And so my first book, actually, Cry Until You Laugh, is that journey. And but what an odd time of life. I was 47 years old, too young to be a widow. I mean, too young to be without we were going to be those people, those old people on the porch, on rockers, drinking lemonade. That's what you plan on. And so it just made me question life, question a lot of things. And it made me question the real meaning of love, the true meaning of love, for whatever reason. And, there are people that have lived a year of Jesus or lived a year cooking like Julia Child, or whatever. And the year of living Jesus, a few people have done that and written books, but it was more about wearing sandals and having a drink at a bar with strangers. And I just thought, how would I do that differently? Because that would change your life, right? You would think if you truly lived like Jesus, I was waiting for these big spiritual revelations. And so then I thought, well, here I'm questioning love, and God is love. And so if I were to live love, wouldn't that be living like Jesus? Wouldn't that be living the way we're supposed to live? So I took 1 Corinthians 13, one word at a time. So love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, et cetera, et cetera. And my plan was 1 word a month for a year, but there are 14 words. And so the math didn't quite work out, but so it took me a little longer than a year. but that's what I did. And most of the time I was writing, I was in Haiti. And so I start out each chapter with what I think it is, like love is patient, what I think it is. And then the story that brought me to what I now believe to be true about it. So like love is patient, right? The very first one out of the gate. So I just put my mind on it constantly. It was always in the forefront of my mind. I was looking for it, searching for it, searching for it. And I thought, well, I know what patience is. We all know what patience is, right? You're not honking if you're stuck in traffic or, she's not ready to go. You're ready to go. You're not getting mad at her, whatever. That's patience. But I figured out that when you put love is or love is not in front of any word, it completely changes the definition. So, yeah, it was really interesting. So like patience, for instance, this is what I figured out about love that is patient is, first of all, I believe you're supposed to love everybody, right? So, with that, loving the person you're with, you recognize that right now, this moment is the most important moment of your life. What's in the past is in the past. What's in the future is yet to come. This is the moment. And how many of these moments do we miss, right? Like I was the queen of it, like thinking about, I got to stop at the grocery store on my way home, or I got a meeting later tonight, I got to get ready for it. And you miss this moment. This moment's going to come and go no matter what. And if you love who you're with, the grocery store clerk, it doesn't matter who, we love everybody, but love who you're with. So your whole focus is here. So you're completely here, completely present for the person that you love, for everybody. And that's something that's taken me a lot of practice, but something that has really changed my life at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you mentioned you were in Haiti, and Haiti is, to me, I think two words come to mind when I think about Haiti. One of them is resilience and struggle, right? Because it's like they're struggling for all these natural disasters, social, economic issues they have. And then they're very resilient because how do you, right? You can struggle once, but struggle twice and all right, and let's keep doing this again. So what were your biggest lessons where you were there?
I would say the biggest thing is that people are people all over the world. I think we tend to live in a them and us sort of society. That's them, that's how they believe, or that's how they live, or that's their culture, or them, but it's not them. It's Patrick and Junior and Gertrude and, whoever, right? We all have names. We're all individuals all doing this thing together, no matter where we live. The lines on the map, we put those lines on the map. God didn't put the lines on the map, right? So people are people all over the world, including in Haiti, of course. But there's cultural differences, which are beautiful. It would be a boring world if we all were the same. And so I think that's the biggest takeaway is it's just not a them and us. I feel like you got to get away from that and recognize the beauty in the individual.
Yeah, because one of the lessons that I apply in this year is when I look at other individuals, and this can be strangers, acquaintance, friends, family, I'm always telling myself, you know what? They're doing the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the best they can. I don't think people get up in the morning and say, you know what? I'm going to do the worst I can today.
Right.
Well, I'm going to do this. Or I'm going to really hurt that person. I'm going to do something that is going to bother that person. I think in their world, they're doing the best they can. Like you said.
That's true. Yeah. And I think, too, you never know what somebody's gone through.
Right. Yeah.
So, somebody bumps into you at the grocery store with their cart, and it's easy to get angry, which love doesn't easily anger. That's another one. Mm-hmm. But it's easy to get angry, or somebody cuts you off or whatever. Well, maybe they just lost somebody. Maybe they just got a tough diagnosis. They lost their job, or, something happened that stirred them up, right? You just don't know where people have come from. Mm. So, to relax about it a bit and breathe for a minute and just go, okay, I hope they're okay. I hope whatever, has gotten them upset today, Lord Jesus, just help them, help it go away. right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because when you're in that presence, like you speak about, in terms of being able to love everyone, right? Regardless of whatever interaction, whatever setting you're in, you're doing Jesus' work by being loved. And it's so simple, right? But we overcomplicate it, right? With our minds and our thoughts and our, like you said, like to-do lists or very task-based lifestyle. And what we've noticed since we've shifted from a very more urban environment, a very fast-paced urban lifestyle, which we both have had, even before we were married, and then also while we were married, raising our girls. We've noticed now that moving into a smaller town and environment, those delineations versus us versus them kind of melts a little bit because people, to be honest, will have a higher likelihood of seeing each other again, right? So more riding on this, I think, sense of I probably should be polite because, or maybe I should be saying nicer things, right? Which, in public, because someone I know is probably going to come in the room at some level. And that's a sense of community. But that really has helped me think about, that's how I should be all the time. Right? Like this is really what love is being gentle, being kind, being gracious, I think of it, even like you said, giving compassionate, giving others the benefit of the doubt. And so I think it's so beautiful when we can try and identify that. And I see that around really that as a daily practice. I'm curious, do you have any suggestions or advice from your experience for our listeners around how would you suggest making 1 Corinthians 13 real in their everyday lives?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, one is to be present, right? To work on that. Like I said, it's taken me a lot of practice, but kind of the overall theme of it, like every word is so impactful. What I learned about kindness, what I learned about envy, every single word, but the sort of the umbrella that goes over it all is that love does not judge. Love lets people be who they are. We have no control over anybody but ourselves, right?
Yeah.
You have daughters, and sometimes you feel like you got zero control. Isn't that true?
Yes.
With your daughter?
Absolutely. Yeah. Very humbling.
Right.
Mine is 0.
Mine is -0. Right. I always say parenting is spiritual surrender. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So to let people be who they are without judgment, without criticism, without, thinking you're better than love realizes we are all walking on the same ground. We are all equal. We're all created in his image. We are all loved by God, right? So love recognizes that. So love doesn't elevate above, doesn't think that you're smarter than, doesn't think that you're somehow better. So you just love people and you let people be who they are with zero expectation of getting anything in return. That's a big part of it. Because it's so easy to go, oh gosh, I went to their kid's graduation party. Why didn't they come to mine? Right? But or why didn't they even say thank you? Whatever. And but the minute you have an expectation, it's not love anymore. The minute you're looking for something in return, then it's about you. It's not about love. It's not about them. It's about you. And so love doesn't do that. Love has zero expectations. Love allows people to be who they are and just loves. And with that, by the way, comes the most incredible freedom. The most incredible freedom. So, yeah, that's
wonderful.
Yeah. So to work on it, I mean, those are kind of the key things to work toward that. Like love, we like to think of it as an emotion sometimes or, something a little more tangible. But I think love is not like fear is an emotion, but love is moving and walking and living and breathing. It's who you are. It can be who you are. You can be love to others, right? Mm-hmm. You can be love in this world. And so to achieve that, you have to understand that there's no judgment. There's no condemnation. There's just love. It's just pure. It's just so pure.
Yeah. And also, also what I'm hearing is that there's no expectation as well, right? Because sometimes we in a way, we are giving love, hoping that we get equal or greater amount of love, right? But that's not pure love there, right? It's like, okay, I'm doing this for me, you better do that for me. It's not unconditional as well, right? So no expectations as well. But I really love what you're saying, because when you're in the moment and you loving, that's when the magic happens, right? Because you're like, wow, I'm being authentic. I'm loving this person. I'm not judging them. And then this thing, you're like, wow, look at all these things are happening, right? Through this experience and being mindful and not expecting anything. And just.
Right. Yeah. It's so true. I had a moment with my husband years ago where, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but marriage can be difficult.
Yes,
sometimes.
we know. Absolutely. Part of the reason why we wrote our book. And don't, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. You understand it well. Well, I was going through this time where I was like, man, I don't know, like, what is going on in my marriage? Do I want to be married to this guy? Do I not want to be married to this guy? Where's my head? What am I thinking? And I decided that I wanted a great marriage. I wanted a great marriage. So if I wanted a great marriage, it was going to kind of be up to me. Like, the romance. Like, my husband was not a romantic guy. If I wanted romance, I needed to create it. I decided it had to be up to me. And so I determined and then lived through just doing everything I could for him, loving him in every possible way. I'd go to the grocery store and bring home his favorite something, I'd make his favorite dinner, or I'd, rub his feet at night, or, leave a little note, or just little things, but keeping my mind on, if he never does anything for me, he never does anything for me, but I'm going to do this for him. I'm going to love him like this, and this is what I'm going to do for him. And sure enough, it changes things. Even though I was doing it, not expecting anything in return, you get return, it changed our marriage. It changed our marriage. We had a great marriage. But when you realize it's about no expectations, again, right? About giving, not so much about receiving.
Mm-hmm.
That is so beautiful. It's really empowering in a lot of ways, right? Like snapping yourself out of that sort of expectation. It's almost like, feeling like a victim of your marriage or relationship, where you're an agent, right? You're a participator. You can activate this great relationship. And I think that is so beautiful. That's living love, right? That's acting out in love. One of the things I just wanted to mention, because it really just came to my heart, was when you were both of you were talking around not taking life personally. Like, I feel like so much of being love is not taking others or other things that happen personally. It's, like, being love is not making what other people are doing about you, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you're always relating it back, like you said, when you said, well, that's about you, that's perhaps some wound or something, a conversation you need to have with God, go to prayer in it. But it's being triggered in you, and it's not really about those other people. And that's just something I'm constantly learning and being humbled by. Like, if someone, for example, yesterday, my husband gave me this beautiful birthday gift. My birthday's tomorrow. And so I was very relaxed. I went to get a massage, and I was super relaxed. And the minute I came out, there was this family there, and they were like, "Can you take our picture?" And I was like, my first, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but it's true. My first instinct was like, oh my gosh, I just am totally out of it. I have no makeup on. I'm kind of self-conscious, and I just came out of this cocoon. And I heard God's voice say, how many people have taken your picture? And then I was like, of course I'll take your picture. And hung out with them, and they had to gather their little ones and, get it all set up. And I was just like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for carrying me through that, because, they were like, you're awesome. Thank you so much. You just made our night. And literally it was the most beautiful sunset. It was just this amazing view. And I wish I had it, but in any case, and I'm not kidding you, I was walking to my car then thereafter, and it started pouring rain. So if I had said no, right, or if I was selfish or, in my own stuff and said no to them, they would have totally lost that beautiful moment, image, and memory. Yeah. So it just was like a little reminder.
Yeah, it's so true. It's wonderful when those things come along, right? Kind of a kick in the butt that says, wait a second, are you really behaving like you should be? Are you really living love? Are you really doing it? And so it's a great reminder.
In your book, you talk about more in that faith transformation, right? And also the risks, right? And also encourage people to take that risk of serving others, right? For example, when Christina and I started our ministry, we have no idea. We were like, all right, we got the book. We've been doing marriage preparation for over 15 years. We have experience, but we have no idea what was coming to us, right? There's so many things that came to us at how to run a nonprofit, and at the same time, do a ministry. And at the same time, we got, this thing called COVID-19, how we deal with that, how we keep moving, how we navigate. But one thing that we were doing and would love, I think our audience would love to hear, is when you put yourself at risk. And I remember Christina and I said, you know what? We're doing it for him. We serve him here. So he's going to give us the guidance. But if you can share with us, taking that risk to serve others, right? Because there's a lot of people that I talk to, and they wait until November, December to make these large gifts or donations, monetary donations. And for them, they feel like, all right, I did it. I'm doing great. I'm getting my, tax deduction. I'm giving money, but taking that risk and serving others, right? And how it can transform your life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In a way, it's a risk to not do it. Because your life is just so richer when you serve others. And like you were talking about getting out of yourself, right? And serving others, that's what you do. And serving others in a place like Haiti, where, I'm sleeping on the ground, I'm getting chased by a motorcycle gang, or lost on a mountain, all kinds of crazy things happen. There's tarantulas and snakes and whatever. And not everybody can do that. Not everybody can pick up and go to Haiti or go to wherever and serve. But there's stuff in your own backyard. There's even stuff right next door to you. There could be somebody right next door that needs a helping hand. Maybe someone who's lost their spouse and needs their lawn mowed once, or whatever it happens to be. If we keep our focus on service, love, and service, then we're going to see those opportunities. We're going to see, gosh, this woman is really struggling getting her groceries to the car, right? So it can be that. I mean, that is service. Or it could be volunteering at the soup kitchen, or volunteering for something at church, or going to Haiti. There's so many ways to give and so many ways to serve. By not doing it, you're selling yourself short. You're not living your full potential.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, that was a great point. That's a great point. You're not growing with God. You're playing safe, so you're not going to see the big picture.
Yeah, it's like black and white versus color.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I think that's true. You think about how many people haven't, had the opportunity to get out of their hometown, out of their state, out of the country, whatever. But the more people you meet, the bigger the spectrum, right? And you get to see, oh, this person's this way and this person's this way. And not everybody is in this box.
Right.
People are way outside this box, and that's good. That's okay. Because it's up to them. So,
right.
Yeah.
We have a saying in the Cursillo movement, that, your faith is like a stool with 3 legs, right? You have piety, study, and action. and you need to do all those three to live this Christian life, right? Because you can do a lot of piety, you can do a lot of study, but if you don't do action, then that stool is gonna, you're gonna fall. But
I love that.
yeah,
That's so good. That's so true.
those two
Yeah.
things, but action is the one, right, that delivers, the message and the good news, and obviously the piety and study as well. All those three combined together. But action, to me, I think, is the most important one.
Mm-hmm. Javi is just saying Action Jackson. He's like, it's like an old thing, right, from movie reference. But he'd always say that, like, show me, like, and we all see the truth in that, right, in our lives when people like you have spoken to and articulated today, Kim, is that we know when people are loved to us. We know when they have showed up being loved or acted in love for us, and it makes a huge impression. And I just think about that when people have, taken risks on me and been kind to me and done things for me, and it reminds you that, we are all interwoven, and it's huge, and it's super, super within our control to do that. We can choose.
Yeah, and that's part of love too, is allowing people to love you.
Yeah.
Allowing people to love you, right? I mean, because it can be humbling. Like if you need help with something or whatever, and somebody reaches out and loves you in that way, that can be kind of humbling. Like, I don't really need help. I got it under control. I don't need any parenting advice. I don't need any couple advice. I know what I'm doing. But allowing people to love you, and without thinking, oh gosh, they did this for me, now I have to do something for them.
Right.
Don't take it away from them. Don't steal their love, right? Let them be loving to you. Accept the love. You have to accept it.
Right. Instead of borrowing it or keeping track. That's beautiful.
Right. Yeah, keeping track. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Keeping score.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, we are so grateful that we have you on and being part of the Boundless Love, and also this Cafecito for Two podcast on our brand new studio for a long time.
Woo!
Now,
you have so much more room. It's very exciting.
I was reflecting on our conversation. I know a lot of people start setting up expectations, goals, resolutions, you name it, right? But one thing that I think we touched today is a very important message, which is what love is, what the love our Heavenly Father has for you, and how you can transform your life, right? And really serving others traditionally and doing that. And I think that's a key ingredient to move forward in 2022, right? Because we don't know what's coming ahead of us. But at the same time, we do know that our Heavenly Father loves us. And if we even get close to the way He loves us, I mean, imagine the changes that we're going to do, right? In other people's lives. So we're very grateful. And I would like to know the people who are watching us and also the people who are listening to our podcast, where people can find you.
Sure. Yeah. So Love is the name of my book, and it goes much more in depth, of course, about love and tells the stories that are sometimes funny, sometimes scary, but interesting. It transformed my life living that year plus. So it's available at Barnes & Noble stores. It's available at other bookstores or online on Amazon, whatever. Kim Sorrelle, my website is kimsorrelle.com. But a little bit easier is loveis.info, also takes you to my website. I'm starting a Love Revolution. I'm starting a WWLD revolution. What would love do?
Oh,
right?
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
yeah. We'll put it all in the notes for the listeners and everyone to be able to access for sure. Lots of good ones and great things.
Absolutely. And like I say, I think it's a good way to start the year with the main ingredient instead of setting up me expectations or me goals.
Yeah. And less individually. And Kim, I just want you to know I found our conversation today so grounding and so affirming. And I just really want to appreciate and acknowledge you for this amazing work you've done. It's You're a shining light, and I'm just so thankful that we got to have you on today.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm so thankful that you gave me the opportunity, and on your birthday eve of all days.
Thank you. Well, the good news is there's always time to celebrate, right? But this is really wonderful. It's part of my celebration. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank
Right back
you.
at you.
All right. So with that, we will.
We ended. You just ended it.
No, I start.
Oh.
We're gonna start the year with this episode.
Oh.
And with a great message. So until we see you next time, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching us on the video platform, either YouTube or Facebook. And thank you for listening. And we'll be back next week with another exciting episode.
See you.